The sink has claimed its biggest victim. Fix this now, or AGL JIREN might be dead on arrival. How's it up, buddy? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are talking about the release of AGL JIREN, when we should expect to see him, and how the version of Sync may have just screwed this guy out of any viability he may have had leading into the 10th anniversary. So let's go ahead and let's kick things off by starting and talking about when this dude is releasing. So there are two possible options for this guy. Number one, they can release him in the Christmas celebration time slot, where they basically removed these guys right here, right? This was supposed to be the Christmas banner, which would return Tech UI and Beast Gohan and Broly. This got moved to a Black Friday celebration, so I think it's pretty likely we're going to see a Tech UI banner and Carnival JIREN banner. It would be Tech UI's rerun banner, Carnival JIREN's first banner, show up around, similar to the way this is set up here as a sort of dual Carnival and Dokkan Fest setup. I feel like we're going to see something very similar drop on Christmas as well, and you'll be able to summon for AGL JIREN with, I don't imagine his banner is going to change, but then the Tech UI banner might be a little bit interesting. So that's probably going to happen around Christmas time. Otherwise, his other release is probably in Omega Shenron's time slot, which is, well, his global time slot. So Omega Shenron was last year's part 2, and the same situation happened, right? They dropped LR Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Goku, and then didn't drop Omega at all. They dropped them 3 months later in at the end of January. So there's a chance that that could happen to JIREN as well. In either scenario, it's not good for JIREN at all, and here's why. Dokkan's biggest problem with premium LR units, especially with Carnival LRs and major Dokkan Fest LRs, that is anniversary and worldwide LRs, is they take forever to return. We're talking upwards of 6 months in some cases. Global got really lucky here with returning Gogeta and Beast Gohan a little bit early, about a month earlier than it normally is, but still running about 5 to 6 months. The problem with that is, right, in the case of a character like Beast Gohan, not that big of an issue, but for a lot of other characters, that 6 months gap can mean a lot in terms of usability, especially right when we consider the fact, right, the right, the types of events that have released in the meantime, right? We talk Tech UI Goku released at the end of July for global. On JP, they released Tech UI Goku, at the same, well, not really the same time, beginning of July, right? And with him and the subsequent release with JIREN, we got the hardest fight, Goku and Frieza. Both units work incredibly well, and they're able to be utilized in those events, right? Since then, we've got, the WWC events, and then these two events right here, considered two of the hardest stages currently. Now, JIREN is tailor-made for the Goku-Frieza fight. He can work in these fights, but he does struggle a little bit, if only because you're likely not going to be able to see his standby very often, unless you specifically play to it in these fights. Now, knowing how hard these guys are hitting and how much, JIREN's not going to have too much of a problem with damage, but moving into the 10th anniversary, we may have a problem. And here's the problem with that, right? Let's say the 10th anniversary does introduce a new set of power creep, right? Let's say it basically, a lot of people are saying it's going to be a hard reset. I don't think it's going to go that far, but let's just say there's a level of power creep that happens at the 10th anniversary. That means if JIREN were to drop either right before anniversary or here in a couple of weeks in December, in either scenario, No global players are summoning for JIREN unless you absolutely like or want JIREN. Most players are going to skip out on him in order to save for the anniversary. And here's the problem with that. Once you do that, this guy is probably not going to return again until July again, until the next Tanabata. That means 6 months later. That means by the time you're able to purchase this guy with coins, you'll have nothing, right? There'll be no use for him. You'll probably want to save your coins for somebody that's going to be on the new anniversary banner who you may or may not have pulled. You're probably not going to prioritize JIREN with your coins, especially given that he's the previous Tanabata LR. This is exactly what happened to Omega. Omega, obviously GT Boss's restrictions aside, is kind of good. He's pretty useful in a lot of events, but his first return now is in November, almost December, nearly 12 months later. There's almost no point in using your coins now for him, especially knowing that right now we've got the worldwide LRs to worry about, and now we've got future, in just a month or two, we have the anniversary LRs to worry about. Dokkan's biggest problem with these LRs is they're not returning them quick enough, and in the end, it's hurting players' ability to actually utilize these units, right? Made even worse by the introduction of the new pity coin system that's going to be added to big celebrations like worldwide and anniversary, right? This pity coin system basically means you're out, like, let's just say one out of, most players are going to get 500 coins out of a celebration, maybe a little bit more if you get super shafted, right? But let's say you don't pick up the unit and you're forced to go to pity and get the card. That means those coins are gone. You're not picking up any coins that can be added to your collection, making it even harder to pick up a guy like JIREN or Omega or any other Carnival LR that might be released. And this applies to Dokkan Fest too, but Carnivals are hit a little bit harder in this scenario, just because Dokkan Fest coins are built up throughout the year, throughout the months, via the regular Dokkan Fest banners. If you're summoning on them, even if it's just 1 or 2 summons here and there, that adds up. Right? Carnivals don't really have that luxury, especially because they only come 3 or 4 times a year, way less often than Dokkan Fest banners, obviously. So this is a real problem, and I think there is a viable solution that might help out with this. Carnival LRs, and Yellow Coin LRs for that matter, need to just have a running setup in the shop, right? Basically, just at any point when you receive your 500th coin, you can head on over to the shop and just pick up a Carnival LR unit whenever it's there. That's either that or they have to start dropping them more, which I don't think they're going to do, right? Because there's no real slots to make that happen, or replace yellow coins entirely. That might be the alternative. But I think, right, a safe bet that makes everybody happy is just having a running shop of Carnival LRs, right? So once they release in a month or two, drop them in the shop like they usually do with the Yellow Coin LRs when they, not necessarily because they don't always return, right? Just after a couple of months, they drop them in the shop. When there's a Yellow Coin banner, you can pick them up. Do the same with Carnival LRs. Make them purchasable whether they are in the banner or not. This helps a lot of players out, right? Like if players missed Omega Shenron, but when the next Carnival banner showed up in 6 months on the anniversary, at least then you've got a shot and you're not waiting 12 months. The same could be said for JIREN, right? He drops on Global, let's say, right? And then have him show up in anniversary, and then you can purchase him there if he's not going to be on the banners. He's likely not going to be on the banners, and that's why I think this is such a big issue, especially for JIREN, because it's just straight up. I mean, in some cases, outside of the main WWC LRs and anniversary LRs, these side Carnival LRs are really hard to pick up. Not many people picked up the trio until worldwide the following year. Same with Five Guys. Same with Carnival what was the other one? There's one more I'm thinking of. I can't remember it right now. But, I mean, this is basically how it's been running, and it's really, really unfortunate. And so I think that's probably the best way to go about this. Otherwise, characters like JIREN, characters like Omega are going to continue to be dead on arrival. So guys, that is it for my video. That's just a little something I wanted to discuss with you guys as I'm thinking about when the possibility of JIREN is coming. Like I said, he's more than likely dropping around December 23rd to 24th when the Christmas banner usually drops. And if not, it'll be at the tail end of January, right before anniversary. Either way, not a good place for global players. Guys, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know. What do you think they can do to help JIREN and other Carnival LRs out? I like the idea of just setting up a running shop the way they do with the yellow coins. Whenever a new banner shows up, you can just pick them up then, instead of having to wait 6, 12 months even sometimes to pick up them. Otherwise, a lot of these characters may not find any viable use for most players who don't summon on their initial banners. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.